You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast, brought to you by BringingDownTheBand.com. No Bad Ideas, Coleman Dental, and Printfinity. I am Major 7th. I make beats and have the t-shirts to prove it. And directly in front of me, the maestro, Lonegevity. How are you, sir?
I'm well. It's kind of ironic you call me the maestro, considering that's what you used to go by, production-wise.
It was, but that was
Oh,
many,
really?
that was many,
I didn't know that.
That was many moons ago.
Way back in the day.
Yeah. He's seen pretty much everything.
Little Major 7th trivia.
Yeah.
I got a phone somewhere.
Did you lose it, or
I bet it is.
Do you
right
feel
behind me.
uncomfortable without it?
No, I feel very, very
You
comfortable.
good? Okay.
Yeah.
Caddy Corner, New Old Head sweatshirt that reads "Salutations." DJ Jay Diff. How are you, sir?
Salutations.
I like that. You good?
I'm here.
You here?
Yeah, I'm a little tired, but
You been on your grind. We appreciate you.
yeah, we gonna make it
work
work
it out?
though. We gonna
Okay.
make it work, man.
All right, that's what's up. Directly to my left, the incomparable DJ Spoolz.
Hello, Michael.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I can't complain, Spoolz. Short
Good.
week.
Glad
You know
to.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
me too. That's awesome, right?
Yeah, a little family time, a little food,
You know, fix your mic.
a little football. Is it pointing the wrong direction?
How long we been doing the show now?
It's not efficient.
This is episode 56.
It's not sound
It's
efficient.
not efficient. Let me move it on in. a little
Episode
bit.
56.
Yeah. Okay, is that better?
See, this wouldn't happen if you took my Ableton class. And
I like that plug.
And you
You do
understand,
learn about microphones.
and you
Sh-
understand
Shout out to Lone with the Ableton class,
With-
Decademics.
with directional mics and
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Dynamic
learned a
mics
lot that
and-
night.
Yeah. Shout out to Lone. He
We
does.
got to be Lone's
test.
like guinea pig group.
Yep.
Yeah.
Terry and I and Scoot Dubs.
Scoot.
Shout out to Scoot Dubs.
Yep.
He does teach classes at Decademics for Ableton for those who want to learn the production process. So
I do.
do a quick plug
Beats
there.
and things.
Shout out to Salago.
Shouts to DJ Metronome,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Episode 56.
who did cuts on our album.
Ah.
Finished them up today.
Peace sake.
Man.
That's the homie.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, Lone out here with the plugs. I ain't mad at you, though. Plug
December
away, sir.
1st.
I like that. What's the name of the album?
Heaven Can Wait.
You and who?
Pete's sake.
Dope artwork.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, art turned out really well.
Are you,
Really dope.
are you excited about it?
Yeah, this has been a not to go too much on a tangent, but this has been a real collaborative effort in the sense that I produced it, Pete wrote it.
Yep.
Mike Spitz essentially did the A&Ring for it,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course Il Brown did the mastering. So
Shout out to El Brown.
putting everything together. So it's been a different process for me because normally I'm used to just doing everything. But yeah, it's been good, and the singles have been received really well. So we'll see.
I am excited. I've been
We got
been
some-
lucky enough to be in the sessions on some of these in terms of just the listening sessions, the
Right.
tweak sessions. So I've had a chance to listen to it. I'm still excited to listen to it back to back in sequence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With all the Lauries on it and
Mm-hmm.
everything. Like, so
Lowry's.
seasoning salt. They put a lot of Lauries on this one.
You can
Yeah.
call me Laurie's because I'm seasoned.
I see you, Spools.
Mike Lowry.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yep.
So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing that one. Episode 56. Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah,
You said Derek Thomas. Is that his number too?
I don't know. I thought it might have been. I need to check
Derek
it out.
Thomas for
The Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yep.
Lawrence Taylor changed the game though.
Yeah, he was a
made
beast, man.
he made them actually
Derek Thomas
start
was
having
58.
rules as
58,
far as what
yeah.
you can do to a quarterback.
Facts.
What about Derek Johnson?
No, we're just gonna go
we'll
with Lawrence Taylor
Yeah, I agree. I was just curious if he wore 50.
Quarterback sacks like LT.
Look out now.
with the
Sergey
earrings.
Zubov from
No.
the NHL
No.
also
No.
wore 56.
You know, I
but-
think I might have to go with him.
No.
What's his name again? He's got too many consonants together.
Yeah,
Shouts to Chance the Rapper.
straight up.
Great
no,
job on
LT
SNL.
for sure.
LT.
He's
Yeah.
a beast.
All right. The Lawrence Taylor episode.
Derek Thomas had 8 sacks in a game, though.
Did he? Is that a record? Yeah.
I believe it is. I believe he's second with 7.
I seen
as
Lawrence
well.
Taylor pick people, scoop them, and like slam them on their neck.
He hurt Joe Montana, if I'm not mistaken.
Broke
he hit
his-
him real hard, man. He hit him in the elbow. I thought he hit his helmet on the elbow. Just, I mean, he wasn't being dirty. It was just a sack, but
Dude played. They say he played with like a crazy rage.
maybe I'm wrong.
man.
Maybe it wasn't that. It was something, man. But he blew Joe Montana
Who
up.
was on that? Who was on that team? Phil Simms was quarterback, right?
Phil Simmons,
Yeah, they
bum ass.
They won a they
Dave
won a Super
Maggot.
Bowl in like 91.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
91,
played Tecmo
92.
Bowl.
Is that Dave Meggett?
Yeah, Dave Meggett.
Dave Meggett. There was
played
Otis
Tecmo Bowl.
Anderson.
Otis Anderson.
Was Otis on there then?
I think so. It was Jeff Hostetler that actually came in because Phil Simms got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That was the year Buffalo, one of those 4 years they lost.
Shout out to Don BB.
And and Andre
Shouts to
Reed,
Scott Norwood.
Thurman Thomas. But he kicked it wide right. It was like a chip shot field goal to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I remember
Hey,
that.
Jim Kelly was cold, low key. They just couldn't,
So was
get it
Thurman,
done.
man. Thurman was dope. And
That was a weird time
That team
because there
was
was
cold,
a
though.
lot of super dope quarterbacks.
That
I
team
mean, that's
was
the era
cold, though.
from Dan Marino and
Montana was around
like
then.
you said,
Yeah.
Jim Kelly.
That's when Steve Young came in as the backup
Mm-hmm.
because
was
Montana
cold.
got hurt. I
Yeah.
think it's because he got
It
hurt.
was when Aikman was still young because the Cowboys,
Favre.
They
he
had,
was-
Brett Favre.
he was drafted by the Falcons
Who
actually
was-
and traded.
But around that same time, though, in the
Yeah.
93, I think he
Ish.
was in there.
Yep.
because they had the Bills had their Andre
Ke-
Reed, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't he the main
Andre Reed.
receiver?
Yep.
Mhm.
I can't remember who played opposite of him, but that team was cold, man. They just,
They had what was the
Bruce
quarterback
Smith.
Bruce Smith was a
for
beast.
the Redskins then that went to Grambling?
Oh, it was.
man,
I can see him.
he was cold too.
Was he-
Doug Williams.
Doug
yeah,
Williams.
Doug
Yeah.
Williams.
Are you sure it wasn't Mark Rypien?
Nah,
He
it
was after.
It was
I see what
definitely
you did there.
Doug Williams.
That's the Tecmo Bowl name.
Doug Williams.
The
won
thing
it.
is, it would be really funny if Mark Rypien went to Grambling State.
I think Doug Williams won a
It'd be
Super
hilarious.
Bowl against.
But-
I think he was the quarterback when they beat the Bills.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
I think
he
Yeah.
was.
Who? Rypien?
Williams. Doug Williams.
Oh,
Doug
Doug.
Williams.
I thought
Now,
it was, I
the
thought it was
white
Mark Rypien.
dudes, the
It might
white
have been.
dudes at the HBCUs on the football team were all kickers.
Kickers.
Kickers, yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that's why I said it would. That's why I knew it wasn't Mark Rypien. I was like, Mark Rypien went to
He's like,
Grambling
nah,
State.
he didn't go to Grambling State.
Yeah,
Not at all.
Yeah.
So
where they was in band.
I've been to Grambling State before.
one of my homies went
I was the
there.
only white person in that city.
Yeah,
The entire city.
It was a small town,
Mm.
and the town over was all white people. It was very interesting.
I used to want to go to Grambling.
So Washington won in '92. The Redskins did. That was the last time they won.
Okay.
And they beat Buffalo.
It was Mark Rypien.
And it was Mark Rypien. Passed for 292 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was the MVP.
They lost, 4 Super Bowls in the span of
4
10 years? Is that right?
You talking about the
Doug
Bills?
Williams
No,
won
I'm talking
Super
about
Bowl.
the Bills. Didn't they lose 4 Super Bowls?
They won. They lost like 3 back to back or 4 back to back, didn't they?
I thought it was 4 within like 10 years or something crazy like that. I know they lost 4, right? Or am I tripping?
They couldn't get right.
They lost to Dallas. They lost
Yeah, they
to,
lost 4. They lost
was
to
it
Dallas
4? Yeah.
twice, Washington, and then New York.
New York, yeah. That's
and then
crazy.
Doug Williams won the Super Bowl for the Redskins Super Bowl 23. So
There
like
you
3
go.
years before that.
Did you guys?
4.
Did you guys remember watching a game where? I remember watching this game, and the Bills were beating the Oilers by
Shout
like
out.
35 points,
Oh, yeah.
and they came back at
was
halftime
Warren Moon.
with a backup quarterback.
Who was their backup? I know. I actually
Frank
remember the
Wright.
game.
Frank
Oh,
Wright.
really? Okay.
Frank
Oh,
Wright. The Bills
I
came
don't
back.
remember
came back.
The
Yes,
Bills
yep.
came back.
Because Warren Moon was throwing that thing.
It was
Yep.
like 35-3 at
Yeah.
halftime.
Yeah.
Kelly got knocked out. Frank Wright came back and brought him all the way back.
Mm-hmm. That was in there. They have a good 30
Wow.
for 30 about the Buffalo Bills.
Hey, Warren Moon was cold.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was.
Haywood,
Warren Moon was cold.
Haywood Jeffries.
Haywood Jeffries. That's a good one.
You got some good names today. That's it right there. Haywood
Yeah,
Jeffries.
if you remember those old football games back then,
Yep.
the Houston Oilers, their receivers were like
Fast.
amazing.
Yeah.
It was like the best receiving squad. But
Hey, man, the coldest play, in my opinion, on Tecmo Bowl is the quarterback sweep with Randall Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham, I knew
Oh,
you were
yeah.
gonna
The
say
one
that.
that comes down, you know,
Yeah,
that
no,
arrow.
It's like a big
It's a wrap. And then Bo Jackson off tackle.
Oh yeah.
You know, like that, it's over.
We
The
could do
original,
anything.
man,
You
I
know,
played with Walter. I'm sure you did too, right? Or
I
did you
never-
play Super Tecmo
I
Bowl?
played Super
Okay.
Tecmo Bowl. Yeah.
The first one was cool, but they
That was
changed
Neil Anderson for
Neil
the Bears?
Anderson,
they
Brad
changed the
Mustard.
game with the with Super when they touchdown and all that other stuff at the end with the screen and all that.
Mhm.
That was cold. Barry Sanders was cold on there too. 4 carries, 375 yards. That's
I
how
guess
it
it's
was.
guess it's possible.
Mhm.
With him, very possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had him souped up. Shout out to Christian Okoye.
He was very slippery.
Indeed.
Mhm.
Maybe we should probably go into the rundown now, huh?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much for this.
I mean,
A little trip down memory lane.
if you want,
childhood
I could put strychnine in the guacamole.
Wow. He's a comedian in his former
I
life.
set the building on fire.
I could
So-
have this place condemned.
So, we talked about this a few episodes back. We talked about the pipeline. We talked
A
about
few episodes back.
A few, meaning like 30.
give or take 30 or so.
Okay.
Give or take 5 or 30. You choose between there.
30 for 30, yeah. All right.
Okay, something happened there. But yeah, we talked about 45 and what he decided to do.
Keystone Pipeline you talking about?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
You remember when 45 was like, go ahead and get this popping? Well, 210,000 gallons of oil have spilled. They said about 5,000 barrels of oil or about 210,000 gallons gushed out of the Keystone Pipeline on Thursday in South Dakota, blackening a grassy field in the remote northeast part of the state and sending cleanup crews and emergency workers scrambling to the site. This is not a little spill from any perspective, said 𝐀𝐁𝐃𝐃𝐄, an environmental scientist with the South Dakota Department of Environment and Natural Resources. No livestock or drinking water sources appeared to be threatened, Ms. McIntosh said, and no farm buildings or houses are within a mile. So,
That's cute.
I don't know if you guys saw the photo,
Man.
but the spot is like the actual spot is crazy.
This is everything everybody was talking about.
This is exactly what everybody was talking about, and to see it actually happen is just crazy, man. It's unfortunate. I saw a picture. It was a zoom-in picture, but it wasn't the aerial view. So when they zoomed out and I looked at it in relation to the surroundings, I'm like, this thing is huge when you think about it. So I don't know, man. It's funny that it's not funny, but we already talked about it and kind of saw what the possibilities were. Everybody mentioned what the possibilities were and what could happen, what could go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see it happen, it's like,
oh,
yeah. And I don't know if you guys have. I don't know what 45 has 45 addressed this yet, or is he too busy talking about football?
He's talking.
No, he's too busy talking about the Ball family.
The Ball family and
okay.
supporting sexual predators and
Okay.
in the government.
Okay. Diversion, perhaps.
No, that's just him.
Oh, that's just him. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Spoolz, any thoughts on this spill in general, or
It's unfortunate, man. It's
I agree.
very sad, and I mean, like you guys already said, this was the main reason that people didn't want this. That's why people were protesting, obviously, and it going through their land. But
And there it is.
But you look at that.
yeah, that's about it, man.
So I mean, I don't know I don't know what else there is to say really, except for I told you so, or
yeah.
But they obviously don't care now either. So
I remember you and I were talking about it, not a while back, but many moons back.
a
And,
while.
And he actually was like, man, I just see, you might not remember, but he was like, I just see this going bad and like it just doing what just happened. I was like, you know what? There's a possibility. And you were like, yeah, like I really could see this happen. And then here we are. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It is.
I'd be curious to see the spin that 45 puts on this or attempts to. Or maybe they're just prepping something for him to read at this point. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Especially with National the day coming up, Indigenous Genocide Day on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we will we'll keep an eye on that. I'm at this point we already know the severity of it. I'm just trying to kind of get a feel for how 45 is going to play it. So we will see.
Well, he just came out. Speaking of 45, he just came out in support of Roy Moore, I believe is his name.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
The guy from Alabama.
Yeah, the guy
I must
with
have
allegations against sexual misconduct against teen girls.
Really?
Yeah, so he came out in support of him.
What was the support statement like? Was it
I don't
just in general, or was it? That's
Let
crazy.
Let me read it. But yeah, and then Mike Pence had his statement today, or maybe it was yesterday as well.
How stupid was his?
His I believe his was more along the lines of men will be men.
Oh boy.
Did he
That's a
say
great
that
answer.
for real?
Not I mean,
just paraphrasing.
That's what. Yeah, I'm paraphrasing, but
Okay.
Yeah, Trump on more. He denies it. Look, he denies it. Trump told reporters, if you look at all the things that have happened over the last 48 hours, he totally denies it. He says it didn't happen. And look, you have to look at him also. That's
what? Why does he talk like that, man?
Bruh. This is real life, man.
I'm really getting sick of it, man.
This is real life, though. This is real life. This is real life.
And here's the thing is, like, he has every opportunity to say, and this isn't just saying the right thing, it's saying the thing that should be said in his position, which is, I'm going to let this investigation, I hope these allegations are not true.
Bingo, Spoolz.
But
Bingo.
we need to let the,
Yes.
I understand he's spoken out in his, innocence or whatever, but,
So here's
we take these allegations seriously, but those, it's not just the politically correct or right thing to say, it's just the right thing to say, like, in that position when you hold, so.
Piece of shit, man. It's a piece of shit.
Not a huge surprise.
You looked up, you got the quote.
Well, the Pence thing.
Pence.
Here's a quote from the article, and it says, the Pence rule arises from a broken view of the sexes. Men are lustful beasts that must be contained, while women are objects of desire that must be hidden away. Offering the Pence rule as a solution to male predation is like saying, I can't meet with you one-on-one, otherwise I might eventually assault you. It goes into detail also about the idea of laws or rules in certain companies where you can't be alone with the woman in a specific place, or you can't do, to prevent that because men are beasts.
Yeah.
As opposed to, it seems ass backwards, but
that's crazy.
Cool.
Very interesting subject,
I'm amazed.
Those are the leaders of the free world.
Facts, Spoolz.
Boy.
Did you guys see the? There were, what was it, 3? I think maybe 3 to 5 gentlemen that were, Democrats that were filing for impeachment papers. Did you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're trying to get the ball rolling on impeachment. Like, I saw that on CNN.
Articles or whatever.
Yeah, they were getting articles together, and they listed like 5 things that forced them to get here to that conclusion. So we'll have to try to monitor that. Like, I don't know too much about it. I just saw that it was in process, so we don't know. I'm gonna have to do research to see what has to be, how the votes go.
Historically, I know impeachment has been brought upon before. I know Clinton, and I know Nixon. I think he resigned before he resigned. Yeah. But nobody has ever been impeached, though, right?
Well, you're actually, I guess and this could be my misunderstanding of it, but being impeached is being brought to.
Oh, just brought to those charges.
Now being dismissed for impeachment.
I see.
I think they knew Nixon was going to be
right.
So, like you said, he just resigned beforehand. But they went through everything with Nixon, though, the whole trial, and he was found basically guilty. But Gerald Ford, the guy who came after him, basically pardoned him.
Says,
and he caught a lot of flack for that too. Ford did.
Forrest Gump seen him do it.
Wow. We see you.
He was there. He's the one that called the police, man.
Yeah.
He had too many Dr. Peppers.
Too many damn.
It says per Wikipedia, Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton are the only 2 presidents that have been successfully impeached by the House of Representatives, and both were later acquitted by the Senate.
Yeah. So the impeachment.
So that's just the process.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened. Maybe Nixon had actual charges filed against him, and that wasn't necessarily impeached. Maybe, I don't know. Or did he say just successfully impeached there? Whatever.
Yeah, it says successfully impeached by the House of Representatives, and both were later acquitted by the Senate. So
gotcha.
There it is.
So obviously, I don't clearly understand the impeachment process. Nor do I. On with this, but
nor do I.
I think I get to
the general. What does it really
gist.
mean?
Yeah. So it can't act like I know what I'm talking about.
With Trump, though, it sounds good because it's like, I hope that happens.
Well, I mean, now we kind of know what it means, right? So it just sounds like they'll go up to some sort of decision will go through the House and then the Senate.
Just starts the ball rolling. Yeah, starts the ball rolling.
I'm just curious to know what offenses they would pick, I guess. Is the way to put that.
Facts.
I feel like we're stuck with him until this term
I'm not.
over.
Yeah, you're right, dude. I think
that process would take. It takes so long anyway. We're gonna have him for a while. I don't know how long that while is, but if it's a full term, if it's a shortened term, we don't know. But
yeah, if he dips, it's because he wanted to get up out of there.
Yeah, could be. I don't think his pride. I don't think his ego or his pride will let him dip. He'll have to get impeached, I guess is the.
then there's going to be a Donald Trump library.
There'll be a TV show right after that.
Yeah,
all the
like a
presidents
reality
get a
show,
library.
though. Yeah.
Can you imagine a Donald Trump dictionary writing grammar book?
Yo, can you imagine a level of trolling and a level of foolishness that would be on a Donald Trump reality show like post presidency? You know how much foolishness and bullshit would be on that show.
Well, now he's going to be a president for the rest of his life.
Yeah, so I mean, he gets Secret Service.
Former president, no matter when that is.
Yeah, he gets Secret Service for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Y'all did that.
He's getting a check.
Yeah.
Man.
He gets a pretty much a badge to stunt.
A badge to stunt.
That's pretty much what he wanted.
Well, it's too late now.
Yeah.
The badge will follow him. It's a wrap. He's always going to be a former president.
There's people that don't even realize that once you're president, you always have those benefits. Like somebody was saying, like President Obama was out somewhere and he had all these Secret Service agents. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens.
On deck, though.
Whenever you go anywhere as a president or a former president. Comes with the job.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
You know things.
Yeah, you know a lot.
A little bit.
So?
No, not you, Terry. I mean, like as a former president,
Yeah,
you know a lot of
you don't know anything.
things about the country that. But you know a ton too.
I don't know anything.
No, he doesn't.
Really?
Yeah, I said it.
Ouch. Zing.
Prove it. Do we need to have a brain game?
No.
Oh, man.
New old heads to see who knows.
Looking like that.
I was waiting on him to do something. No, I don't want to do that.
You want to do that? Want to have a brain game?
No.
Huh?
No.
You want to get served?
We should have a new old heads trivia.
Yeah.
One episode.
That'd be fun.
A hip hop trivia. I bet there's plenty of hip hop trivia. I'm sure games out there and stuff like.
Because Mike knows everything.
Not at all.
I will lose.
Let the community vote on who they think will win.
All my knowledge is modern.
Warfare.
I see what
Part
you did
2.
there. I see.
Cod.
Pretty slick.
Got him.
Cod.
Fish.
Baked?
No.
Ziti.
Call of Duty, sir.
I'm sorry?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. I thought he said
We need to
COD.
get you to play that.
No, I refuse to play Call of Duty.
I got the new Battlefield too.
I refuse to play that.
Yeah.
Not while he's here.
I've been playing a little GTA 5 on my PS3 lately.
So is that
It's fun.
the one you just said? Is that the one with the it has the same trigger and all of that?
Both of them do.
Okay,
So like the new Battlefront is the new Star Wars game that just came out,
gotcha.
and then the other one is Call of Duty, which is first-person shooter based on World War II, I believe. This time.
Yeah, you
around.
got to have some good hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, you got to be able to move your feet and your arms at the same time.
I
With
think
your
I'll
thumbs.
pass. I think I'll pass. Yeah, I'll pass.
Do you
on that.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Is that different than
So the
other
left-
games like that?
No, it's just the left analog stick is your motion, and the right is your upper body,
Analog.
essentially. Just
Okay.
like aim in first person. Yeah.
Analog.
Doo-doo.
Some of those games do get to be.
Excuse me.
You got to. There's a lot more to them.
Oh, yeah.
Than some years ago.
People that are cold at those games, I have a newfound respect for them because I failed miserably. So anybody that can just go through and aim and
Oh, I'm sure you
reload
could with
and-
practice, sir.
but no, Lon's a beast at it though. I'll give him that.
I'm okay.
Game Pro. Shout out to Game Pro. All right, so let's
Game Genie,
say either or.
Game Shark.
Let's talk Ball family. So they've been in the news.
Some more Trump stuff.
Some more 45.
Real quick though, have you guys seen Keenan from SNL, his impression of LaVar Ball yet?
I have not. I'm sure it's pretty good.
Fantastic. Daniel shout out to Daniel in the community posted a link to it's SNL basically.
Oh, okay.
It's him on Weekend Update. It's very funny. Yeah.
Dude is talented, man. He's very talented. He's talented. So I definitely want to see that one. Shout out to him posting in the community as well. Yeah. But yeah, so the balls are back into the news again.
Balls are back.
This is per
Giggity.
All right. It says a report on ESPN cites sources that say LiAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill could be suspended as long as a full season after admitting to shoplifting from 3 stores.
Ooh. They admitted to it?
Yep, admitting to shoplifting from 3 stores.
I shouldn't laugh, but that's really funny.
The team's trip to China.
Because they were at a Gucci store, I believe. Yeah.
Facts. It says sources told ESPN that university officials are debating whether to suspend LiAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill anywhere from half of the season up to full season. Multiple major donors have called the school with their thoughts on the situation, according to sources. If the players are suspended for
they're like, we paid a lot of money to get those kids here.
I know,
sorry.
Right? No, you good. It says if the players are suspended for half the season, they would be back around the time the team begins conference play. If the players are suspended for the entire season, there's a chance one or more could decide to transfer. Riley and Hill were ESPN 100 recruits. Ball is the brother of Lakers rookie LiAngelo Ball, who also played at UCLA.
Stimpy, you idiot.
Which really means he's the one that's not really good.
Well,
it was LaMelo or LiAngelo?
LiAngelo.
Okay, was he ranked in the top 100?
No.
So
LaMelo's still in high school.
He's leading the
college. He doesn't even play because his dad took him out of school for some reason.
Oh, that's right. I'm sure he's playing plenty of ball though.
Yeah.
So, he's leading college stats and steals right now though.
Who's that? Oh, nice.
Good job, Spoolz.
What about his friends? I mean,
they're tied.
Okay.
Yeah, they all. Yeah, it's a 3-way tie.
Yeah, it's a 3-way tie. Yeah. Haven't played a game yet.
3-way tie.
Stealing.
So it appears that 45 says, and Pops ain't going for this, but LaVar,
he trolled him.
Yeah, he trolled him bad. They say 45 had something to do with those young men coming back home and not sitting in that box for about 10 of them things.
10 of them things.
But LaVar Ball is not going. He said, I did not have to thank this man for something that we don't even know if he did. And I'm like, fam, I don't even fool with 45. But my son coming home from possibly being jailed for up to 10 years, I'll at least be like, hey, man, if you did, I appreciate you and keep it moving.
No.
Fuck him.
Fuck him. Fuck him then. All right, that's y'all.
I mean, if Trump's really gonna go on Twitter and cry about him not,
I don't agree with that.
Man, screw that old ass crybaby.
I don't agree with that.
It's not important.
Then you didn't do it. Then you didn't do it for just reasons. Like you did it just so you can get the publicity off of it.
And I think, to your point, that's what killed the whole thing. Where he was like, all right, so I guess y'all.
He's just trying to get black.
Yeah, he's just trying to get peace. So that killed the whole thing. Like, I agree with that 100%. That's crazy, man. If you think about what they could have gone through, and then for 45 to come out and be like, yeah, so what's up with that? Thank you. I'm like, it just furthers.
Nope.
It just furthers who he really is.
You can get these bizzles inside your jizzles.
Wow.
And work them like a strizzles. That's what they should have said to him.
And just left it at that.
Yeah.
You could also go in my Levi strizzles.
Mm-hmm. All those things.
So Spoolz, with 45, thirsty for a pub. I've never seen anybody this thirsty for
certainly not
for peas.
Again, the leader of the free world.
Nah,
you wouldn't think.
You don't see.
I think he'd be secure enough to not go on a social networking site and feel the need to say things like that. It's ridiculous. This dude and his Twitter, it's unbelievable, man.
It's weird.
It's like the bet. It's obviously he does press conferences and stuff, but it seems to be the most. Or the way he seems to prefer to communicate to people.
It's on Twitter.
I don't know. I'm just old though, but
yeah.
But anyways, No, that's real lame that he did that. And as far as no, it's not not a surprise. Like that's Trump, man. Like, you know,
he's
over here slamming glasses down.
I know, loud as hell.
Yeah, that was extremely loud. Did you hear that?
I'm gonna leave it in there so people can't hear it. Actually, I have to.
Oh,
because he was talking, so it echoes through the microphones.
Thanks for telling everybody.
Thanks to Heat, Michael.
Yep.
Episode 56.
But nah, man.
As far as the kids, though, I mean, it just sounds like they did a dumb thing that young kids do sometimes.
Yeah, that's kind of why I talked. I mean, they were accountable.
Dumb.
It's really dumb.
You did it in China.
So it's really dumb.
Like
they got caught.
It's extremely dumb, though.
Yeah.
Like stealing from, like, can you? I'm trying to think. Like, it's kind of be comedic. Like what was going through their heads. Like,
yeah, they definitely.
Oh, they're not going to catch us. This is China. This will be easy. And then
thought it was funny.
They thought it was a game.
Or they could get away with it. Maybe, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your brother's getting checks from the NBA.
That's another thing too. That's why it's just a dumb kid thing.
I can see LiAngelo being like, I'm a ball. Like I'm straight.
But they admitted to it, and they don't have to go back over there and do any time, do they?
No, sir.
If you got to steal Gucci, you're not a big baller.
Wow.
Woohoo.
I like that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Hey.
And I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, because Big Baller Brand will.
Hey, he was on a CNN interview, Lavar Ball, and like he was pubbing Big Baller Brand. Like,
it was funny.
Yeah, he's like, that's what we do.
You guys gotta watch the impression that
I want to check
Kenan
that
Thompson
out.
does.
We steal. That's what we do.
Hey, LaVar Ball is.
You ain't a big baller if you ain't out here stealing.
There was a report that I read. China.
That's it right
Trump
there.
was in China.
Yeah, he's.
I guess did talk to
China.
Like one of the many things they talked about, but he had already planned on being over there and whatever. But
see how
to come out and be like, well, why didn't you thank me? Like that's so whack.
Yeah, he was over there checking on the production of his ties.
I went over to China.
Trump hands
to check my ties.
He just doesn't do himself any favors with stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
I've never dude just continues to dig the biggest hole ever in terms of he'll try to crawl back out and it's like nope, let's say something else stupid.
No, he doesn't try to climb out.
You don't think he tries to climb out at all?
No.
He just continues to.
He does not give
how many
a shit, man.
He don't care
at all.
Yo.
Do you really think he does?
Oh man,
what's the worst that's gonna happen to him?
I don't even know now. At this point, it's like a reality show. What?
He said, "What's the worst that could happen to him?" I was like, "He could get impeached." But to him, I don't think that would matter.
And go back to being a billionaire. Yeah, that'll work.
I could burn the whole place down.
Shout out to the reality show that's gonna come out too. So, oh well, we'll see.
With my lovely wife, who's standing right here.
Now move.
Yeah. So those kids, man. Else. You know, once the boosters, once the people that send that paper, once they start getting bothered,
boosters.
You gotta take care of them. They putting that paper up.
Mm-hmm. Are you stealing? You don't ever see that dude? What's his name? Mighty Duck or some dude.
Mighty Duck.
It's some dude right? That be on Facebook.
He's called Mighty Duck?
Something like that. And he always clowns his buddies. Like they'll be in a group in a store or something. And he'll just yell out real loud, "Oh, he's stealing." And they'll have it recording.
Oh, yeah.
And then like the store clerks.
I have seen that.
Yeah. No, I haven't peeped that. Yeah, I have to check that out. Yeah, send me a link. Yeah, I have to check that out.
Then he clown his mom all the time. Like they'll be driving down the street and he'll like flip out and then he'll be like, "I was just playing."
So he probably has millions upon millions of views, right?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, he's one of those guys. All right, get your views up, I guess.
Yeah, it's working.
Get that YouTube bread. Switching gears, I guess we can jump into a little music. Shout out to Memphis. Waka Flocka.
Waka.
Hey.
That felt good.
You done?
Yeah.
Okay. So Waka had some interesting comments about hip hop or music. He was very upset with the elders. Says that they did not pass the torch. They did not handle business. If they had handled business, things would be a little bit better. And Pete Rock was very, very, very upset at that. Waka also did call himself the Jay-Z of this generation. Or
did he say that?
Oh, yes. He said, I'm like the Jay-Z
He's
of
like, I'm
my
the Jay-Z
generation.
or Nas of this generation. He was like,
oh,
he's like, I can't rap as good as them, but as far as something else, I'm just like
influence
them.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he's the equivalent of Jay-Z. So after I stopped laughing from that, I said, okay, so let me try to
That
be
is blasphemous.
Yeah.
let me try to be
Blasphemous.
open-minded here and go back. I'm like, nah, I don't see the Hove. I don't see that. I do see Pete Rock. When Pete Rock goes in, to his credit, I appreciate Pete Rock's candor. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he will come in and body whoever says something that he thinks or feels is inappropriate. I think he bodied him, though. Now, what Waka said in return, the part about, I'm going to beat your ass when I see, I don't know, something stupid like that.
I'm talking about my
I
situation.
should slap you.
Oh, he tried with you. Yeah, that's different. I was very disappointed in that.
He did not succeed.
At all. And you have a poster of him in here, which is ironic. Signed.
Anyways.
But so
I thought they were both a little extra.
I agree with that, but I think they both, the points are different.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They're different
For different reasons.
Right. So I can understand. I understand that there's two perspectives, but I don't know if Waka. I don't know if I agree with the elder statesman not leaving a good path for the younger generation when hip hop is beyond profitable at this point. When you think about Hove and Tidal and all the stuff that he's done, like how much hip hop impacts everything now. I'm not saying that, the elders are the only reasons.
Foul, bro.
But it's like, I don't know if I agree with that. Like the elder statesmen didn't pave the way or leave a good trail for the youngsters that come up behind them. To that you say what, Spoolz?
I'd like to know what he means exactly by that, man.
What?
What? Because we were talking about this beforehand, because it kind of contradicts the way that he said he was kind of raised himself. Like, he said he was more raised that, he says in this interview or whatever that, to pay attention, right? And that nothing was, like, handed to him or given to him necessarily. And, like,
he said he was this generation, Jay-Z.
Yeah, right.
You still getting over that, right?
But then on the
blasphemous.
on the hip hop side, though, now it's the OGs didn't pave the way. Like, how also? I mean, how are some of the OGs supposed to pave the way if the young kids already think? If people don't tell you immediately that your music is good, that it's fuck you. You know what I mean?
Point.
And by the way, that's no different than
it.
I don't think younger cats have like this thing isn't new, right? It's always like an older, younger thing that's always kind of gone on in a lot of ways, and not just hip hop.
Hip
or rap,
hop is a young man's game.
It seems to be for sure.
Historically,
that's pretty much what it is. It's evolving into, or has evolved into, being a genre where people of all ages are participating and continue to tour and make more music. But for some reason, and I can kind of G for that to a certain extent as far as
For Waka?
as far as youth saying that OGs didn't do this and that. I can kind of G for that a little bit to a certain extent. Because if you were paying attention,
you'd have to explain that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. If you were paying attention though to what's going on, and you operated in that manner, as far as like for example, I'm trying to think back, who was like hot like back in the like a LL Cool J. He's not somebody that you're checking for as far as musically right now. But he did evolve through steps. So you had the 80s young LL Cool J.
16.
Yeah, who was at odds with Kool Moe Dee because he was a young cat on the block, right?
Right.
All right, so LL Cool J was good then, but when he evolved, he found a lane.
Yeah.
So he started pretty much making music to kind of go with his moniker. Ladies
I mean,
Love
his name
Cool
is
James.
Ladies Love 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐿. Yep.
He started kind of going that route, and he had a stream of hits for a minute.
Hey, undeniable jams.
His GOAT album was trash, though. I'm gonna just put that out there.
That mug was whack.
That shit was trash.
But
But
a couple singles on there though. The album was whack though.
Another young cat, Fresh Prince. I mean, these is all people that didn't necessarily do what their predecessors were doing. They did their own thing. I think what it is today, though, the younger cats aren't taking it upon themselves to respect the generation before them.
I agree.
Whereas back in the day, it was more like, I'm here now. I respect what you're doing. I'm trying to be a part of that, but I want to do me too. Nowadays, it's more, this ain't rap music. No. What you're doing is rap. If you're not playing instruments on stage live, if you're not doing the moonwalk and all that stuff, you're not an entertainer.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
Yeah, straight up.
Shouts to Maxie.
You're not what you're saying that you are. Just because you're running around and whatever. I don't know. I don't even know what I would even classify it as. But I can't agree with them saying that they're so above hip hop or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like when people get upset when you classify them as a rapper.
Like here's where I challenge. I'm coming to you, Lone. Here's where I challenge. This is where I challenge Waka, because I heard him say something to the effect of, in terms of how deals are structured or how the game is now in terms of, how it's structured, right? I'm gonna talk through this.
Waka also said too, real quick. He wanted to go to school for math. Y'all remember that, Waka?
Yeah.
When he said that,
it's pretty bad.
Yeah. So.
But
yeah.
Here's my thing. When he talks about the elders in terms of how the older statesmen, how they left it, right? Mm-hmm. To me, if you to use LL Cool J to piggyback off your point, to me, if you look at LL, you talked about his evolution, but also take into account how he went from rapping and then he started acting.
Same thing with Fresh Prince.
Exactly. Will, they both did the same thing. You think about Hov.
Cube. Think about Cube.
You think about Hov being an executive. He's a billionaire now almost. Diddy, like how they branched off and opened up all of these lanes for hip hop to be appreciated or accepted.
Just in the way they did business.
Exactly. So to me, how can you say that these dudes, quote unquote, fucked it up or whatever if they opened up all of this lane for you to make capital? I don't agree with that.
Because they don't want to pay homage. It's almost like...
but to your point, the respect thing.
Yeah, it's not... just like how Jay-Z had the line where he said, I'm overcharging for what they did to the Cold Crush. Like, that's paying homage to them. Like, I'm about to get my cheese. I'm getting this bag now.
Yep.
Because they didn't want to pay them.
Yeah, I agree.
So I've created this lane. I've maneuvered and rubbed elbows with these cats in order to make it cool for you to do it.
Yeah.
But you don't want to pay homage or respect what was put forth before you.
I agree. Long jump in.
I've got nothing.
Oh, man.
I mean, you guys were touching on it. No,
do you see what I mean in terms of what they've done, the ground that's been...
Yeah, I think looking at this from a different perspective, maybe not necessarily Waka because he's older. He's like 31. Ish, 32, somewhere around there.
You wouldn't have known it from that interview either.
I know.
Make him sound like I'd have thought he's 24.
But when we talk about the younger artists who don't pay homage, at the same time, we're talking about kids that were born in the 2000s, maybe late 90s. By the time they're around to be full circle and like engulfed in the culture, hip hop is established at this point.
Mm-hmm. It is.
The difference is back then it was still growing. It wasn't necessarily a mainstay. And everything that you're saying about the Cube and the and Will and LL and everybody else that took the culture and expanded it to make it in a sense mainstream.
Run DMC was on Sesame Street,
but they were creating those lanes. So there's something
where the homage needs to be paid for.
Right, but there's
not
like
kiss
point.
everybody's ass.
No, not that.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about maybe kids coming up just maybe having the idea that, well, it's kind of always been like this.
You're right.
Nowadays, it's almost like it's cool for them to say, I wasn't really rocking with them. I kind of formulated this on my own.
We just had the conversation.
A lot of today's popular rappers or MCs say that, and it blows my mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Sean and I were watching an interview with the Migos, and this I really they've kind of grown on me a little bit just over time. You know what I mean? They're all over, and you can't help. They're not awful. You know what I mean? But it was a question about mumble rap, or somebody asked him about that, and it was the answer was, I can't remember which of the three guys said it, but I think the flow was just so evolved and complex that people don't understand it. And I was like, no,
it's not evolved. It's not complex.
I'll give them one thing. When we talk about delivery and how they deliver, it is they did kind of evolutionize that in a sense, a particular style that has been then turned into what everybody does.
Oh, but Trailblazers, no doubt about it.
But that's just the delivery and how they do it necessarily.
Everybody
it
uses
was drill before that.
Yeah.
To be honest, you can hear a lot of similarities between the way they rap and a number of different drill rappers, because drill rap right before the Migos came out is what everybody was really listening to.
So that's a valid point.
That makes sense though too. I mean, I'm not blaming them for that either.
Not at all.
Things are amalgamation. You know what I mean? Like that happens. I'm cool with that. But I just thought, like, you know, when I heard that, I was like, oh boy, like, no, I hear every word you're saying. You're just not saying shit. Like,
but again, that's not necessarily what they're saying. They're not saying that what we are saying necessarily is.
Oh, I know.
This.
Yeah.
It's how we're saying it,
but
and what we're
flow
invoking.
And those aspects, not the content necessarily.
They're not doing anything different than Bone Thugs and Harmony did.
It's just minus the lyrics.
And I've got no problem with any of that.
And I'm not even going to say that Bone Thugs and Harmony had these immaculate lyrics, because they said the same thing over and over again, like as far as their verses and stuff were concerned. It's just how they delivered it. So you had different harmonies and levels, and that's pretty much what the Migos are doing, but they're doing it from a trap standpoint.
But I don't hear to in that comparison, I can't point to a crossroads. Like, I don't see that.
Yeah, because the harmonies aren't the same.
But that's what I'm saying. Though. Like, I don't see.
Do you mean from a substance standpoint?
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't see.
I
can't point to a record and say, "Oh, but they did do Crossroads."
I see.
I don't see that. Like, everything is.
That wasn't one of my favorite songs from Bone.
I like Crossroads. Shout out to Uncle Charles. I did. I thought that record was dope.
The original or the remix?
The one that was on the East 1999 Eternal one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy even though you're gone.
Yeah. Oh no, man. The one
different.
The remix was cold though.
But I don't know, man. All in all, this is always a fun, interesting conversation to have, man.
Sure.
And I don't. Sean and I were talking about this a lot prior to, and like.
Yeah, tonight.
I don't think it's just old heads' fault. I don't think it's just new heads' fault.
Nice plug.
I think it's kind of it's definitely our fault. No, I think it's kind of on everybody, man. The one thing we all seem to be able to agree on is something's not right necessarily, or at the very least, the quality of what's coming out isn't really that good. That's what's interesting about this, because even Waka, by saying it's the old head's fault, what's the old head's fault?
Exactly.
Like,
he's articulating
that's what I've been
asking.
asking.
So at least there seems to be an understanding, even if people don't realize it, is in that we are agreeing that it's not, from a quality or content standpoint, it's not that good. Right
I'm not
going
to say that
from a commercial
that
standpoint.
Groups it all together, because I mean you have your gems. And
I said from mostly a commercial standpoint, though. What's popular? What's on the radio? What people seem to be watching on YouTube? People see, all that other stuff.
That's a whole nother beast in itself, as far as radio is concerned, and what's made popular or whatnot. But
there was a time when quality hip hop was popular and on the radio.
Extremely popular.
Yes, it's been a long time.
Come on, man. You remember when The Score came out? Fuji La. All that was like on the radio.
Tribe Called Quest used to be on the radio.
Like Lauryn Hill and Nas.
When hip hop stations started and stuff like that. Yeah.
If I Ruled the World was a huge record.
Yeah, that was Nas's kind of commercial breakout.
Yeah, like that was a huge record.
It depends on what you classify as real hip hop, though. Because there's a lot of hip hop that wasn't on the radio.
I agree.
And there's a lot of people that sold a lot of records not concerned with what was going on the radio. So, I mean, it all depends on what you kind of classify as real hip hop. That's what I'm saying. It's subjective as far as that's concerned, because the radio is a machine.
What is subjective? They're not really exactly
as far as what's classified as real hip hop being on the radio, because not all of it makes it to the radio. Bits and pieces make it to the radio. There's artists that never had anything on the radio ever in their career.
Oh yeah,
that did very well, and you would consider them real hip hop. So it's not. They kind of were in that gray area where hip hop was cool, but it wasn't cool enough to where what they were talking about would have made it to the radio, unless they had a crossover hit. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, these companies know that hip hop sells or rap sells.
A certain kind of rap sells.
They're putting all of it on the radio. It doesn't matter.
That's not necessarily true.
It is true.
96.3. Have you ever heard Odyssey on 96.3?
That goes back to what I just said previously, though. When you're talking
you just
about
said they're putting everything.
No, listen. That's not what I'm saying. Not to that extent. Not everything, because that would fall into your category of what someone would consider real hip hop.
What, Odyssey?
Yeah.
But I consider commercial most. I've gotten away from the whole real. I didn't say real hip hop. I said good hip hop.
I mean, but that's subjective.
You know what I mean? It is to an extent, but I think
it is
what I was getting back. No, it's not. There's a part of it that it's not subjective, because it depends on how you feel and how you view hip hop.
So that's subjective.
There are standards, in my opinion, as far as not standards necessarily, but there is a quality measure of the music that is done. Is that quality measure subjective? Sure, because it's an art. So that makes sense. Yet, I think we all agree and understand, as people who have been involved with hip-hop for a long time, that there are quality standards that we would all agree upon. And the point that I was making was, by good, that's a subjective term in general, good or bad or whatever. It might be different to me than it is to you. That makes perfect sense. But I think we can all agree that especially what I was referring to as far as content, as far as what is commercially popular nowadays, from not just on the radio standpoint, but YouTube and all these other vehicles that are used for music nowadays, it has gone down in quality.
Yeah, that goes back to what I said as far as everything making it, because that stuff is selling. So the thing that you would classify as good hip hop isn't selling as much as that other stuff. Nobody's running out to buy Odyssey album. Nobody's running out to see him live.
Completely
If
agree.
Lil Pump pulls up in town next week, he will sell out.
Mm-hmm.
And all he's going to do is say the same word over and over and over again. Yeah. He's on the radio.
Mm-hmm. That speaks to his point.
So
you're making my point.
You're making his point about
which is cool.
The quality. I see what he's saying when he's saying we can all agree to say or come up with the conclusion that there are quality levels in music. I agree with that.
But that's a fine line, though.
Sure, it's a fine line.
But that statement in itself is subjective, is the thing. Mm-hmm. It's like we can agree on it, but we're still for people that have the same mindset. There are people that like Lil Pump that will come out and completely disagree with us.
That's fair.
Sure.
That's the subjective
he's on the radio,
part.
so that goes back to what I was saying, making my point. Back in the day, you had music that made the radio.
Yep.
That wasn't necessarily classified as good hip hop, or whatever you explain it as. Mm-hmm. But you had the commercialized stuff making the radio, which still, in today's standards, may have lived up to maybe a better range or more content worthy.
Yep.
But it was still the same thing. So you can't say that good hip hop and what you're saying has never ruled the radio ever.
I never
in life.
said ruled.
Well, I'm just saying in general. If you say good hip hop was on the radio at one particular time, there was never a time when that pretty much was the mainstay on the radio.
The earlier 90s, it definitely was.
Yeah.
On what station?
Yeah,
Where?
Maybe not here in Indianapolis.
Well,
but
what songs are we talking about?
From the earlier 90s, I would say, it would have to be a hip hop station or hip hop radio station, but 𝗀𝗱𝗛 If that
what
were
off
played
Illmatic was on the radio?
They had singles, Terry.
On the radio?
Not on the pop necessarily, like
no
99.5 WZPL here in Indianapolis. No, it wasn't going to be
Nothing
on that.
off Illmatic played on the radio.
Not maybe here in Indianapolis.
It played on BT and MTV, but it was not on the radio.
But that goes into commercial fame. Let me draw back just a bit because maybe we're a bit off track. Like, I'm not saying strictly commercial radio. I'm saying all vehicles of commercialism, which include BET and VH1 and
but
MTV,
we're talking about radio.
And
though.
now YouTube. No, I specifically said YouTube multiple times before.
But we were talking about radio. That was after the fact.
Oh,
we were talking about radio.
You were.
No, the whole conversation was about radio.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
I thought it was, but
I wasn't. I said commercially popular, and I mentioned radio.
Yeah, I think that's.
But I also said nowadays, like YouTube and social media and those other things. So back in the day, it would be the other vehicles outside of the radio would be MTV, BET, VH1. There was no YouTube. There was no social media.
He mentioned
back
other
then.
platforms with it.
I was just talking about commercialism in general.
After the fact, but the reason why we're talking about this is based off radio and what was on the radio.
I'm
after
talking
we
about
start talking about
popular.
it, then it went into the YouTube and the things that came afterward. I'm just saying.
No, I was saying I said specifically commercialized.
I don't even know if radio is even with streaming now and so many different ways that the music can be played and listened to. I don't even know if radio is what it was.
You don't.
The reason I say it is because
it isn't. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
I don't think it's as prevalent as it was the era that we talking about. Because now you can just go to Spotify and that still counts just like it would be playing on the radio.
Yeah, I was talking. I guess just to clarify, if I did say that or let it that way, that wasn't the point. I was saying popularity, commercial popularity. Radio being one of those vehicles. To Mike's point, I agree. It's not what it was. Now it is YouTube streaming services. Back in the day, it was you waited for a new single to come out on MTV. You know what I mean? That was sometimes, especially here, we didn't have a lot of dedicated hip hop stations in Indianapolis. A lot. So yeah, I mean, any vehicles of commercialism was the point that I was making. And back to originally what I was saying is I think we can all kind of agree, and maybe not. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth that the general quality of what is popular from a hip-hop standpoint has deteriorated slightly, if not a little more than slightly, to today. When you hear Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, I don't think that would have been as popular in the early to mid-90s. Maybe it would have.
It wouldn't.
But it's not.
I don't think it would have been accepted.
But it's not relevant to that time, though.
Gucci has been a part of hip-hop since the 80s, man.
But this is not the same style of music.
It's a style thing, correct.
So the style is different.
It is a style thing. I agree with that. It is a style thing.
It's
Maybe I'm not making my point very well, and that's fine.
I see where you're
going. I guess what I'm just saying is like it's just not. If you were to flip on BET or MTV in 1993 or 4, the quality, and yes, I understand that's subjective, but come on, we can't act like we don't know. We're going to disagree from time to time, but is Slim Jesus as good as Nas? No. And we all know why he's not as good as Nas.
You would compare Slim Jesus to like
Milli Vanilli or
like a.
And side note, he was commercially popular on some of those vehicles I just mentioned before.
Which one of y'all were bumping Young MC back in the day? Or Tone Loc?
I've just played those at weddings and stuff like that.
I'm just saying.
Facts.
These were the people that ruled the whole pop.
Oh, I mean, I'm not.
I agree with that,
guys. I'm not saying in back in those days it was beautiful and now it's I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that yes, there were. Even the thing on SNL where Chance the Rapper, like the point they're making is things weren't, tremendously different back then than they were today. And I understand that makes perfect sense to me. I'm just saying like maybe I'm alone in this where I feel like the quality and especially content of what is more known as far as hip hop is concerned isn't really as good of hip hop as it was before.
I think the argument that I would make with that would be the way that people consume the music is different now. When you say content, people are consuming content differently. be it. Who knows what the reasoning behind it is, but if you're uberly lyrical, that's not what people are looking for right now.
Correct.
You seen
but
stunting.
that's not necessarily a slam at the modern day culture. They just want things that's more of a feel culture. They feel more
It's
as
a vibe,
as opposed to paying attention to the words.
Exactly.
They're taking that feeling and they're going with the feeling more. As not saying that has never been the case across the board and that has been done, but the way that we examine music now is a lot different, in my opinion, than what it was back then. Again, if we talk about quality, the only thing that I can really put up there in gauge is the quality of the record and how it sounds. That's the only thing that I can say is not subjective. Is the fact that does it sound crisp? Does it sound like it was
mixing? Yes.
Mixing and mastering? That's the only thing that I can put out there.
Yeah.
If somebody's out there slurring their words and stuff like that, okay, I can go with you there.
Or saying the same word over and over and over again, or something along
I don't
those
know,
lines.
but that
you know?
but that kind. But see, even saying the same
Mike
thing.
Jones.
He was terrible too.
Mike Jones.
Oh,
But
I guess maybe
but,
maybe
you know, it's one of those.
harsh, man.
It's one of those things. I mean, this is 10 years ago. I remember talking to somebody who's like, "Yeah, well, radio execs, you know, we look for songs for that we can appeal to 7, 8, 9-year-olds, and they can repeat it." That's exactly those people that were born, that were growing up in that time. Those are those people that are making music right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the relevance to all of it, but
there has been a shift. To Lone's point, there has been a shift because when we were coming up, it was more about, first of all, it was not as accessible. We had to wait for records to come out, whether that be the CD drop, you go to Sam Goody, get the single, the maxi, the instrumental, the acapella, blah, blah, blah. You had to wait for these records to come out. In a microwave generation now, we're flooded with music so much, the attention span is 100 times shorter than it was when we were 12 or 13 years old. So now it's about how does it feel? What's the vibe like? What's the melody like? Can I listen to it? Can I hum it? And
Absolutely.
I'm gone. That's it.
Absolutely.
Like that's all it takes now. Yeah. To his point about the quality, I agree that it is subjective on your point, but I agree with him that there's a consensus that the level of quality now versus what it was 15, 20, 10, 15 years ago is significantly lower. I think if you polled 100 people, you'd get the majority of people
and I
saying
agree. Now I agree with Brad
that the quality is lower.
I absolutely
than
agree.
it was.
That's not the point that I was making.
I absolutely agree with Brad on those points.
But you see what I'm saying, though?
I'm just
To his
talking about
point.
the
Yeah, I heard
subjectivity of it.
I see what he's saying, but
You
I'm
feel me,
saying
though?
that's not what I'm talking about.
That's the way I took what he was saying. And I agree with that. 100%.
The only thing, and I mean, I feel you. And to Sean's point, though, the way, when you say the way we consume music now, I think it's the way younger people consume music now. I think it has an influence on older.
I think it depends on the lifestyle.
It could be, yes.
Because I consume
I agree with
music
that.
differently now than what I used to. I used to pay a lot more attention to everything, but me being who I am and the things that I do, I have to consume music differently, or I have 7 albums on a CD. I still have a CD, MP3 CD. I'll put in my
Shout
car.
out to CDs for the kids
So
out there.
I'll put 7 albums on there or 5 albums on there, and I'll listen to it for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Everything else I listen to is in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's all I have time for.
Yeah.
So now, granted, I've trained myself to be able to listen for specific things to be able to know, like, all right, if these things are happening, then this is probably good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But even that is not listening. That's just microwave listening. So I try my best to listen as much as I can. And I do think that I have a more evolved ear than a lot of people just because of I've had to. But it's still a microwave ear in comparison.
To what it used to be,
Not everybody has to do what I do. If you have 10 artists that you like and they drop an album 1 a year, then you got plenty of music to listen to. But if you're somebody that grows up and right now they have 25 different artists that drop singles every 2 weeks, then you're just going to listen to it and then move on.
I think it's a choice, though, at the end of the day, man. And I think that
extent.
choice can be influenced by factors, by a lot of social factors or other things. You know what I mean? But then why? I guess at the end of the day, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. Then instead of a young cat saying "fuck this older dude" for X, Y, and Z, just be like, "No, this is just a different vibe, man."
Well, he's the younger cat.
Because the younger cat wouldn't have had the opportunity to do his new style and new flow and advanced stuff.
But again,
the cats before him hadn't come to kind of open up.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you.
I think some of these older dudes have just kind of like, and there are some people that assert themselves a little too much, maybe, and you should do this. And no, it is different. So they're not going to sound like Raekwon. They're not going to sound like, who we like or whatever at the end of the day. I accepted that a long, long time ago, but you don't have to shit on that.
But again, it
comes with youth too, right?
That's what I was going to get at. It comes with the youth, and it comes from how they're raised. It comes with all the societal factors that are associated with that. To me, that's where the OGs come in to be a little bit more humble and to maybe reach out to these people and maybe approach it a little bit differently.
I think it's more societal. To his point, I think it's more societal and about how you were raised. I don't buy the age argument because there's a Joey Badass. He's 22. You know what I'm saying? It's not like if you're 19 or 20, you automatically have to make whack music.
It's part of it, though.
It's a part of it.
He's an anomaly.
Maybe he's an. Maybe
for right now, he's an anomaly.
For right now,
maybe
he is.
You know what I mean?
So maybe he is because he's 22. Like you would think he would be a peer to Lil Pump or whoever these dudes are y'all talking about because they're roughly 19, 20, 21 in that same area.
There are multiple factors that go into it.
Wasn't it Lil Pump too that came out and did a song called like "Fuck Joey Badass"? And it's literally just him saying that over and over and over and over and over again. No, it was J. Cole. I'm sorry, it was J. Cole, and he doesn't like him because he's too lyrical.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you.
No, I'm thinking it was him.
He would sell a show out though. To your point,
wouldn't be surprised.
And the thing is, like, I don't have any. It is what it is. At the end of the day, man, I don't have any problems with any of these dudes, man. And it's not. It's hard in general. It's tough to blame a 16-year-old for something like this. You know what I mean? It's not right. It's not the right thing to do.
Facts.
However, it's back to originally what we were talking about with Waka Flocka. I just felt like he really contradicted himself by saying like, I wasn't taught. I just kind of had to learn myself. And then, but with hip hop, like, well, the OGs didn't hold your hand enough, or not him like specifically, but. I don't know, man. It just seemed like a weak argument.
It's easier to talk about Waka because he's older. So that's an easy conversation point because Waka should know better at this point.
I agree. Yes.
But I do feel like there is a humbling of. I understand where the OGs can come from, where they feel like young cats are stepping on their toes or they should know. Like the Pete Rock part. Like, oh yeah, what have you done? But
I know he bitches about drugs. I don't fuck it. I don't care about any of that shit, man. Like these kids or whoever. Like. It's always existed to some extent, man. So I'm not shitting on. Anyway, go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
No, that's
we had this kind. I know we going a little bit over, but we were talking about older rappers. We started naming off before we started taping. We talked about 𝐀𝐿 𝗲, Melly Mel. We talking about lyrics where we might know what we do or what we don't. And I think one of the disconnects between our era and what I'll call our era and the kids that are younger now is I don't know. I can't tell you 5 or 6 songs from 𝗀 𝗲 or Melly Mel. I'm not super hip hop where I can say, oh, I know all of the music from the Furious 5, but I still respect the groundwork that was laid. And I think that is a huge difference between the kids now versus when we came up. I don't know anything. I can't tell you bars from the Furious 5. I can't tell you, oh, I remember when Red Alert was on the radio and he was amazing. Like I can't do that. I'd be lying. I'd be fronting if I said that. But I'm not gonna be like, fuck Red Alert. Who is he? I'm just not. Maybe it's just difference in the era. I'm just not gonna do that. So I don't know. Like
I feel you, man. And I guess I don't dislike the younger by any means the younger generation. And to the point Terry made when we started talking about this, like hip hop is a younger from a definitely musical standpoint.
Music evolves.
Hip hop is a younger person's
it evolves.
game, and it always has been that. And this is going to go on for generations. And it's not the end of hip hop. There's still, for every Little Pump, I think there is an Odyssey out there. And if you like Little Pump, that's cool. And if you like Odyssey, that's cool too. I think the friction sometimes comes with, at least when we talk, is like the respect that Mike talked about, and then also the again, the content or which is subjective about the quality of what is, what they're putting out, I guess, which is, always an interesting conversation. So.
A lot of ways you can take it.
Yeah. For sure.
A lot of ways you can take it. But
we got some new music we should probably touch on real quick.
Yes,
because a lot of stuff dropped over the week.
Yes, we can
on Friday. Just real quick, 𝗏𝗲𝗀𝗀 dropped Radio Silence.
Yes,
it's actually a really solid project. The
he has
single
a joint with Rick Ross I love on that album.
I only kind of like that one, but
I like that one.
The Anderson .Paak joint's cold.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to 𝐀𝐁𝐿, I believe.
𝐀𝐁𝐿 producer. Yeah.
That joint is cold. The Rick Ross joint is cold to me. It's solid, man. Like, I don't know if y'all got it. I think you said you didn't get it yet. Did you, Pete?
Mm-hmm.
You liked it?
It's cool.
Cool. Spoolz, I don't know if you
No
put your ears on it
Words
yet.
Remix album.
Did you like it?
I didn't catch it yet. Is that dope?
I heard one single and I wasn't impressed.
No? That bothers me.
Yeah.
I was hoping that was going to be dope.
Sci-Hi?
No Dope on Sundays is absolutely amazing. I suggest you get that one. Sit down on it. Some bars on it to digest. He's very creative. Wordplay. Very creative. Production is dope. Sequencing is dope. The entire album is supposed to be a concept of 1 week. Like in the life of him for 1 week. He was on the Breakfast Club kind of explaining that.
That's cool.
It's dope. It's very well thought out. Very well executed.
MED, Blue, and Madlib dropped an EP called Turn Up.
Yes. The Turn Up.
The Turn Up. It's 4 or 5 tracks with some instrumentals and acapellas on it. It's a solid project from talented fellas.
Jaden Smith.
Is that good?
From what I heard,
I heard it was.
Bad.
I heard he got some skill, man. I heard he got some skill though. That's what I heard. I haven't peeped. I ain't know he can rap like that. They say I'm hearing people say that he's dope.
I've yet to hear GQ's new album, but I heard that it's actually really good.
From Jamla, right?
From Jamla, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't peeped that one yet.
It's pretty good.
Shout out to Jade Smith though. I'm curious. I'm gonna go check that one out.
I feel like I'm forgetting one, but
I did run that Gucci, by the way. I know it was a few shows back.
Yeah.
With Mr. Davis, is that right? Roger, is that what that album is called? The most recent one.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I ran it though. Had a couple jams on there. Healthy Gucci, we rock with you. I guess we'll conclude episode 56 on Healthy Gucci. BringingDownTheBed.com. You know where to go for all the details, for our Patreon page, for our interviews. There's an Odyssey interview right there.
NewOldHeads.com.
Yes, sir. Lonegevity, DJ Jay Diff, DJ Spoolz. I am Major 7th. This will conclude episode 56, and we will see you next week. Peace.
Holler.
Peace.